Hello, welcome. Lesson number 31. You see, I don't have a banjo on me um, because I want to talk about a few musical aspects. I want to talk about different, aspects in music, and we've been focusing mainly on playing the banjo. I showed you a little bit of music theory, and just a little few things. But I just want to, in the next just few, talk about some other subjects. Uh, One is the technique, of course, and that's obvious. You can see that. You can see the strings, the picks, the movements you got to do, the chords you got to press, all that. That's like the physical sort of thing. The other is you need to have a certain amount of knowledge of what's going on. I mean, it's helpful. You don't have to have that because there's great musicians who do fantastic music who don't know much or, just very, very, very little about music theory. So it's not a must. To the playing is first. You got to be able to play, but the music theory. But to advance, it helps, and it also helps to appreciate different kinds of music because you see, oh, I understand that. That's fun because I understand that also. This is what the cello is doing. This is what they're doing. So music theory is a very interesting subject. Music theory is also a very vast subject. It's when you look at the technical side, at one point, there's just, you can learn a lot of technique, and it's about as much technique as you need, to play good music. It's just you don't need a lot more technique. You can actually, there's not an end to it per se, but there's like you got your fill of technique that you can use, to actually express what you need. It's like the materials, when you're a painter. You have that many colors, you have that many canvases, you have that, that's that many brushes, and you don't need to constantly buy new brushes to make better pictures. You have the things you need, and sometimes you need a little, something to do a scraper or something, do something special. But basically, you're pretty much set, with you. And the same with the technique. You can build that up to that degree that you don't constantly have to struggle finding new techniques, to actually play something. Music theory is a different thing. Music theory is so vast, and it's you can really I know you could study all your life, and I've been studying all my life, and there's no end in sight. But also there again, it is very helpful to understand the music theory of the music you love, and the music. Understand some music theory of music you want to learn, because like I said before, it helps you to appreciate music, and it helps you to understand, why things to come about. There's inspiration that forces, the music to go away, but to finish it is like you need some expertise that is concrete, some knowledge. Similar like somebody envisions a house on a mountain. But then he needs an architect, and he needs people who can actually, measure these things and make them so that they're stable. It's not going to crumble down from the mountain. You get the point. I don't have to be so small thinking with it, but you get the idea. But it's vast. So some music theory is required, to have more fun. Maybe not. Maybe I was wrong. But it's not required, but it's a good thing. So then we have one thing that's absolutely necessary, and it always comes absolutely first, and that's the inspiration. Inspiration is what really drives everything. And inspiration is what drove you to start to play the banjo. So we shall not forget the inspiration. So how can we get inspired about music? And there's a very easy way, a few easy tricks of getting started to be inspired about music, because on every level you are pretty much from day one. It would be great if you had a technique, theory, and how to find inspiration. Not inspiration in a general sense, inspiration, musical inspiration. How do you find music in you, your own music? Sometimes I have people come to me, I hear all this symphonies and things. I wish I could play them. I said, well, you have to learn how to sing them, because once you can sing these things, then you can also find them on instruments. So And also you can search for them, by just noodling around on the instrument and by accident stumbling on things that you say, oh wow, that reminds me of something, and I want to remember that. I remember I had a little book when I was a child, and I put little chords in there that I came up with on my banjo, and I must have been 10 years old, 11 years old or something. I had a little book, and I made little drawings of the chord shapes, and I thought they were all secret chords. I didn't know that anybody could know the name of all the chords, but you can name all chords. But when I was a child, I thought that must be impossible because the possibilities are endless. Then I learned they all have a name, but the way they sound is actually endless. Yes, it is limitless. That I came back to that full circle. So, but then I wrote, this sounds like a cat on a tree, or this sounds like something, and it was just what it reminded me of, because I didn't have a name for it, and I believe that all the great musicians have secret chords. Later, I bought a jazz book by Joe Pass, and the jazz book, I studied many books about music theory and jazz, but Joe Pass, the great guitarist, he had a nice little book. It was only about, I don't know, 30 pages or something, very, very little. And he would say, oh, these are my dominant 7 chord shapes. And he would not even really, call them then, this is a 7 flat 9, flat 5, whatnot. He would just, this is a chord shape I like. This is a dominant chord shape I use. This is a sound I like. And he would not go into specifics of it. He would just very inspirational, teaching you, what sounds he liked, like colors. And I thought that was a game changer for me, really, in music theory, to look at music just really from this emotional state of mind. Because when I was a child, I always thought I was wrong looking at it on this emotional side. But then later I learned, there's all this music theory, and then I thought I should not just feel the music, I should understand it. And then I got Joe Pass's book, and here we go. It's all on that emotional base again, to a big degree, and it gave me hope that I could pursue on that. And so in the next video, I want to talk about how to find inspiration in a very easy way. Okay.